Good job.
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Forever. In this video, a very special video, we're going to be taking a look at a time capsule of sorts. We're going to be going back 20 years into the past to have a look at some of the various bits and pieces that I collected around the time of the build-up to the release of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones in May 2002. I want to do this for like the 20th anniversary in May of 2022, but time eluded me. But we're only in June of 2022, so we're still in spitting distance of the back end of the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. Very special movie for me. It was the first Star Wars film I got to see brand new in the cinema. The first Star Wars film I saw in the cinema was Return of the Jedi, the special edition in 1997. And then 1999, I moved to England. I was already in England in 1997, but I was in England at the time and lived in Wiltshire. And the nearest cinema was in Salisbury, I think, which I'd never went. It was like close by, but I never went there. It was like maybe about 40 minutes away on the bus. Maybe a bit longer, actually, but that was the closest cinema. And so I never got to go and see The Phantom Menace. My first experience with that film was watching a pirate copy on my friend's dad's computer. Which is, you could barely see what was going on. But with Attack of the Clones, I was back in Wales. There's a cinema nearby, just a 10-minute train ride away. And I just recently started going to the cinema on my own. In late 2001, the first film I ever saw on my own was Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg. And I was like, wow, I can just do this. And so Attack of the Clones is coming out. Doesn't matter who's going to see it or who isn't going to see it. I'm going to be there opening night on the Saturday. And so I went in and on my own, and it was an amazing cinema experience. Just one, to see a new Star Wars film. Two, just to kind of soak in that moment, which I've talked about many times before, but for posterity's sake, when Yoda takes out his lightsaber and just launches towards Count Dooku. It's one of the wildest things I've ever experienced. I'm sure that, like, if I could go back in a time machine and sit in that room right now, I'd go, oh, that was actually nothing like I remembered it. But I feel like, because of course with memories, every time you remember something that happened to you, especially if it's a very long time ago, you're remembering the last time you remembered it. And so it's like a tape that loses a generation of quality each time you kind of tape over it. But for me, the shock of seeing Yoda flying around made the whole room just kind of like do that silent gasp where you're like, that kind of intake of breath, that kind of, it's not like you're like, oh my God, but just the kind of the oh my God, like, and you just kind of go, and everyone did it, or almost everyone did it, and you just felt like a shockwave of like an intake of breath kind of go, like it, you could feel it moving, rippling back, and that was just like, I'll never forget that. And clearly, I just keep telling that story to the point where I feel like I'm going to be like 60 years old and telling my kids, like, oh yeah, I went to see Attack of the Clones in the cinema. And when Yoda jumped out with his lightsaber, everyone in the room spontaneously combusted and the roof exploded. It's just going to keep getting bigger, but it was an amazing feeling of just like, you could sense and feel the awe tangibly in that room. Anyway. I've always loved the film. I think it's the weakest probably of the 9, Skywalker Saga movies. And I've grown over the years to become a bit more appreciative of The Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones, but there's a lot to love in it, and I'm not going to review the whole movie and stuff, but I just wanted to show you, and we'll get down onto the carpet and I'll kind of take some of this stuff out and we'll just kind of walk through it. Some of the things that I kept from 20 years ago, some of which has kind of been practically hermetically sealed for 2 decades. First, we have this special collector's edition comic book set, which is still in its kind of Lucas Books spine, and actually we have the tagline from, and I guess I'll show you this on the floor, but the tagline from the poster: "A Jedi shall not know anger, nor hatred, nor love." And we have 3 comic books inside here, and then we have. I kind of, it's showing its age now, but we have the poster with Anakin and Padme on it, which I'll fold out and try and get some of it on camera for you. And then these character teaser posters, which I've kept perfectly preserved in this folder, along with I guess a collector's edition, the official collector's souvenir magazine, which, even though it's been kept in in this envelope for 20 years, there's still this fraying on the spine of it, which is like, I tried my best. Where's my voice go there? I tried my best. It's going again. I filmed 3 videos tonight. That's probably what it is. I'm not used to filming videos anymore, but okay, we'll try that again. I tried my best. But it's still kind of lost. But the actual like prints, the character posters, are pretty much in perfect condition. But we'll take a look at those on the floor. And that'll just be this video, just an appreciation for Attack of the Clones. I haven't gone back to it, to rewatch it this year. It has to be said, but my memories of it are great. I love the whole Obi-Wan detective storyline. The whole chase sequence at the beginning is really fun and exciting. The banter and the establishing of the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin is fantastic. The love story, weakest part of the film, obviously, and the chemistry is kind of lacking. And he just seems to be creepily obsessed with her, and she seems kind of smitten with him, which doesn't quite level out too much. But it's Natalie Portman, who's absolutely beautiful, and so for me as a male, I completely understand why Anakin is unable to hold back some of his creepiness, I suppose, where it's just like, yeah, why wouldn't you be super into someone who is that gorgeous? So it is, and I love the love theme across the stars. That elevates the kind of the wooden, performances, well, not even wooden performances, but like it's just very cheesy and a bit off at times. And the whole scene where he's like, I killed them, the women and the children too, and she just sits down like, hey, it's okay. What the fuck? Red flag. But yeah, and yeah, I've actually, I don't know if I've ever actually done like a full proper review of the film, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm just saying, for me, there's a lot to love about the film, and a lot of that is nostalgia for me too. That it was like, I was 13 years old, going to see my first new Star Wars film in the cinema, and by the time Revenge of the Sith came out, I wasn't quite as into it. I was growing up a bit at the same time, so Episode 2 hit me in a sweet spot where it was just super exciting. And I actually knew that Yoda was going to have a lightsaber battle because it was in the novelization before the film came out. Now, I feel like that can't have surely been the case, and you'd never see that these days. But I remember getting out from the library and just like skimming to the end to see like what lightsaber fights were going to happen. It was like Yoda takes out his lightsaber. I was like, what the I didn't read any further, But I feel like that's when I found out, until I was waiting for it in the cinema. Anyway. Maybe it was a case of like, because it was the school library, maybe they got a copy and they weren't supposed to release it yet, perhaps. That's a possibility. Anyway, let's go down to the floor and take a look at some of my 20-year-old memories in some of this useless tat and paraphernalia from days gone by 20 years ago. Alright, so the first thing we have here is a random thing. I guess I got this from, well, there we go, the Mail on Sunday. It says right there at the top of the page. So this is a special collector's issue. I guess it came just in the newspaper. There was nothing special about it. You just had to buy the newspaper that day. And I just kept it. We got like an image of Anakin here and Padme, and then some concept art spilling over from the bottom. I'm not going to go super in-depth on these things, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see like a really nice kind of like magazine spread thing for this, which actually kind of goes into detail with the making of the movie and history of the characters, introducing the new characters like Django and Zam Wesell. And I can't remember if this is actually like a full thing or whether it kind of bleeds over to like maybe just random newspaper stuff. I'm not sure. So there's like character stuff here. Obviously big adverts, as you would expect. Yeah, Star-Crossed Lovers. The Odd Couple. This is a cool one. Hayden and Natalie Portman, an interview with the two of them. There we go, just adverts. The new world. I remember poring over this when I was a kid, and then I had a poster that showed all the different planets of the Star Wars galaxy. Tesco, every little helps. A George Lucas profile. More adverts. Stuff about the final battle. I think there's something about the ships in this too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the Republic gunship, kind of not quite the detail of some of those books where they would go into like cross sections of the ships, but pretty close. Shows you a lot of the detail that goes into. Oh, this one kind of is like a cross section actually. Shows you all the detail and thought that goes into the production design of these things. Here's the here's all the merch, you know, Padme outfit, droid's clock, kind of one of those jigsaws that kind of they show two different images, like a 3D jigsaw. Yeah, it's not Star Wars if you don't have much. Some lightsaber guide stuff here. I love Count Dooku's lightsaber. That was such a cool. I had the plastic toy of that. It's probably still in my cupboard somewhere back home at my mum's. Oh, there's a Star Wars quiz, I think. Okay, that's interesting. And the answers are upside down. I mean, with all the time in the world, it'd be interesting to just to just go through this. Okay, did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. Will be destroyed for sure. This is madness. That was the opening sentence in the first Star Wars film, but which character said it? C-3PO. Obviously, I'm not a complete idiot. So we're not going to go through all of these, because it's just, yeah. I think I'd probably get a perfect score on that, I think. Oh, George Lucas shocked Hollywood when he filmed Attack of the Clones using a 24p camera. Why was this camera revolutionary? A, it does not use film. B, it does not require actors. C, it creates its own special effects. Well, process of elimination, but no, it was the fact that it was filmed digitally that was very controversial. Well, not controversial, but notable and a huge step. Oh, it could win a 3-week Star Wars Around the World holiday. A joint competition from AOL and The Mail. Here we go. There's like bestseller stuff and TV and radios. Yes, this is where like the this stuff is just interesting to probably have a look at, you know, with a bit more time and, you know, just to get a time capsule of what was on TV on certain, you know. So when's this? What's the date? Saturday the 4th of May. May the 4th. I didn't even plan that. On Channel 4 at 9 p.m. was One Fine Day with George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer. Any Star Wars films on May the 4th? No, there wasn't, because it wasn't a thing back then, and probably for the better. So there you go. That's like, we'll just do a full run through of the magazine there, probably because a funeral it is. But there you go. That is the Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones Night and Day Special Collector's Edition magazine. I did a full walkthrough of that just because it's more of a notable magazine, I guess. Because other people have probably seen the other stuff I'm going to show before. So this one here, I'll try and wipe the dust off it. This isn't in very good condition, I will say. This is the comic book special collector's edition graphic novel set. I'll try and zoom in there, get you a bit of a better view. Oh no, I'm on the focus. Give me a moment. There we go. I think we're in focus there. Okay. So, I remember buying this with kind of pocket money just as I was about to leave on a camper van trip, and this was brilliant to just pour over on the trip while I was in the camper van in the back reading through these 3 comic books. So the first one is the graphic novel of the movie. This is actually in really good condition. It's just the outer box that's a bit banged up. Got advertisement there for the soundtrack CDs. But this is pretty cool. A pretty cool comic. There's Jango Fett getting his head lopped off there. In fact, I'd like to see the Yoda. The Yoda scene to me is still like an unbelievable moment in Star Wars history. Oh, that's cool. You can kind of see Yoda emerging there. Just a shadow. Dooku turns away from Anakin as yet another combatant enters the battle. Count Dooku. Master Yoda. Now we shall discover who is the most powerful. Yeah, so this is just an epic moment. That looks even more epic in the comic, I have to say, because you don't have the silly kind of movements, even though that's part of the thrill of it. But yeah, this is a very cool graphic novel. Or comic. It might have been a comic book in terms of it might have been released in issues and collected in this. I have no idea, to be honest. But yeah, that's an interesting framing of Obi-Wan and Anakin on both sides of their journey in this movie. I wonder if they really depict the... No. See, one of the most like impactful moments of the movie for me is when he looks up after Shmia's died, and that kind of look of absolute venom in his eyes. They didn't quite go for that one in the comic book, but yeah. All the roses around them kissing. Oh, let's see if they've got the line in there. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Yeah, they full in went. Oh, but actually, this kind of extends it a bit. So she's like, we used to lie on the sand and let the sun dry us. Not like here, everything's soft. Oh, this is him talking about the sand. Not like here, everything's soft and smooth. Then Padme says, there was a very old man who lived on the island. He used to make glass out of sand and vases and necklaces out of the glass. They were magical. And then Anakin says, everything here is magical. Interesting. See, I would like to know all the ins and outs of, like, was that in the original script? Was that part of... Well, that's interesting. Obi-Wan looks a bit like Last Jedi Luke there, at a glance. Anyway, so that's the Attack of the Clones one. And then there's two kind of standalone kind of introductory comics for Jango Fett and Zam Wesell. And I really like these characters a lot, just like heading into the movie, like what I'd seen of them. And these are kind of background stories, obviously. They kind of give you a little bit of... And it's not just standalone for themselves. I believe that they both appear in each one, and it kind of shows you how their relationship kind of has come about. Because they're kind of working together and stuff. So, oh, is this... my mind just instantly... I just saw the Slave 1, and I just instantly jumped to, like, the Sarlacc pit. But no, this is very much a Jango Fett story. And then we have the Zam Wesell comic. Yeah, so we got Jango there, and it shows you... It leads right into episode 2, as far as I'm aware, in their relationship and stuff. And I remember enjoying these at the time, but it was again 20 years ago, so I haven't really looked at those properly since then. But it's a nice little set, 3 books. Yeah, it's just the outer case is pretty battered. Yeah, the edges are pretty battered on this one, but it is a nice... it's a nice piece to keep, I think. And a pretty cool front cover, I think, as well. And on the back you get the tagline, "A Jedi shall not know anger, nor hatred, nor love." Now I have this here, and I'm not gonna... because there's just not enough space in my room unless I pulled the camera out to a completely different angle and just held the poster up for kind of, you know, posterity's sake, I guess. I don't know what this is. This is the official Star Wars fact file. I don't even know what this... Oh, is this? Okay, so this is kind of promoting the... Oh, I can smell... No, this is a good smell, but I can smell the smoke from where my mum... This is it! This is the poster. Okay, let's pull this out a bit. How far can we get? This is actually the poster I had on my... You can kind of... Well, I can see now that the corners are kind of... they're kind of all worn out, and because of the blue tack and stuff that was on my wall. Yeah, so this I had on my wall with all the planets, an extended look at the galaxy as it was in the era of the prequels. So, yeah, how do I turn this back again without kind of fucking it up. Like it's some precious art. Oh, and this is the timeline of Star Wars too. So this is interesting, and this is where they're doing the before the Battle of Yavin, the Great Hyperspace War, 5,000 years before A New Hope, and the Fall of Coruscant, 27 years after the original trilogy. Oh, the Yuzhong Vong. Okay, so this is all like expanded universe stuff that was wiped from the official canon when Disney bought Lucasfilm. Oh, I had no idea I kept hold of this, but that's pretty cool. I'll bring you back in a bit now. Although actually, maybe I should have kept it zoomed out. But there's some. I got odds and ends in here. These posters. This is a football poster that's signed by some footballer. I couldn't tell you who he is. It's a €96. It's probably worth absolutely nothing. Tommy something or Terry someone. I don't know. I have no idea. But yes, some wrestling posters, Bubba Ray Dudley, all sorts of just bits and pieces. That looks like a thong and a woman's ass. Yep, Stephanie McMahon, incredibly hot. Yeah, I had all these up on my wall. Oh, Molly Holly, please still my beating heart. Molly Holly. And, oh, where is it? Where's the, oh, there it is. It's at the very bottom. Okay, so this is the episode 2 theatrical poster. Right, okay, so I can actually fit the whole thing in just about. There we go. So that is the episode 2. It's not an actual quad poster, but it's the same dimensions. This would have been probably blown up bigger in the cinemas around the time of the film's release. And this was one of the main theatrical posters. A Jedi shall not know anger nor hatred, and then nor love. This is pretty banged up. There's stains on it. It's all crinkled and crumpled, and I kind of wish I kept better care of it. But, you know, I mean, it's not like I would have hung this thing up. It's not like Attack of the Clones is my favorite Star Wars movie or anything like that. But, yeah, I had this above my bed for about 2 years, I think. It was just, you know, especially once Episode 2 had come out and looking forward to Episode 3, and there's Anakin, and then there's the very beautiful Natalie Portman. It was a great poster to have on my wall. And, yeah, I just noticed on the back. So this must have been, this must have come out in 2001, because on the other side, the reverse, is Minority Report, which I only saw for the first time a couple of years ago. But yeah, I don't know where I got this from. It might have been from a magazine. It probably was maybe like Empire or something. I really don't know or remember. But yeah, so that's the Star Wars Episode 2 theatrical poster right there. Now, this is where I kind of was like, hey, I want to really hold on to these and keep these in good condition. These are, obviously, this is all original stuff. I like how it's got to the point now where, like, Attack of the Clones and the prequels in general have been so long ago. Like, I'm trying to think, how old was I when I first saw Star Wars? 1995, I was 7 years old. So it had been 12 years since the original trilogy had ended. And it's now 20 years, well, I guess we'd call it 17 years since the prequel trilogy ended. That is crazy to me. And I'm sure I'll get to the point where the sequel trilogy will be that far back in the rearview mirror. So these are the original character posters, and I've kept these in almost immaculate condition. So they're both, or I think there's 3 of them, they're double-sided. We have Anakin, just the standard. And these, I remember seeing these on bus stops in my hometown. And I specifically remember there was a Jango Fett one that I kept seeing every time I walked up to town. So that's the one side. This side we have Zam Wesell. And, you know, I'm handling these like delicately as if I'm going to sell them. I'm not. Like, I don't think anyone would be interested in them anyway. But they're just a nice sentimental thing, I think. Remembering, and I think I had to send off for these through a newspaper. Obi-Wan and Mace Windu there. On this side we have a Geonosian, which is probably the most generic of the 6. This is a cool one. Jango Fett Zam and Count Dooku, our kind of villains poster. And on the back we get the heroes one, Obi-Wan, Mace, Padme front and center, and Anakin. I believe there was one with just Django. That was the one I saw on the bus stops. But yeah, these are really cool. I like them a lot, and it's nice to kind of go back and see them. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I like these a lot. So that's these. And finally, the last thing I have to show you is another collector's magazine. I won't go through this one as page by page. This came out summer 2002. The official collector's souvenir magazine. The power is building. Because this is just a wall-to-wall Star Wars magazine, and has all sorts of stuff in there. Like all the promo pictures you could ever hope to want. An outline. Oh, this is cool because this has like the Saga. It was just called the Saga back then. So Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and this is just Episode 3. This is kind of like the murky kind of ooh, and you just see an image of Hayden Christensen from Attack of the Clones with Vader's helmet there. That's really interesting. Scheduled for release in 2005, shooting at Fox Studios Australia in 2003. Written and directed by George Lucas, with Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, and Ian McDiarmid. So yeah, this is this is a really cool magazine. Got a lot of cool stuff in there. Obviously the mail order stuff. I'm sure those phone numbers still work. All the toys. At last, Episode 2 merchandise now available. Call now for our full list of Episode 2 toys. Forbidden Planet. Yeah, all sorts of like subscriptions. I'm not sure if this is tied to the official Star Wars magazine or not, but yeah, it's editing, sound, special effects, shooting in London, Tunisia. This is a pretty extensive behind the scenes magazine, and oh, and here we go. There's the advert for the comic collection, which I have right here. Double Vision, exclusive to W.H. Smith, and I remember buying it from W.H. Smith because the camper van was parked across the road from W.H. Smith, and that's a completely useless piece of information. I'm sorry I had to burden you with that, but that's kind of what I do with the rambling and the, yeah, it's got some concept art stuff, really cool. That looks like a yeah, there is a pre-production painting created by Doug Chiang. Yes, that's really cool. Yeah. Star Wars vs. Spider-Man, who rules the toy shop shelves. A whole page about the script, and I don't know why I did that. That's a bit the air quotes, but no. I still maintain the story's great, and there's even some good lines. It's just and here we got like Owen Lars, Baru White's son, who we just saw in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Special shout out to Joel Edgerton, who was phenomenal in the in that series. It's just fantastic. The way that they put like black and white images of like the people who play the like the creature characters makes it look like they've passed away, and considering Kenny Baker has passed away, it almost made me double take for a second there. Count Dooku. That's a cool shot of Anakin there and Padme. A whole page on Rick McCallum. Dude. George Lucas, the journey of a visionary. The absolute man right there. Isn't it strange how much shit this guy got for these movies, the prequel films? And now he's seen as some genius, and that the prequels are just like masterful masterpieces of subversive political subtext. I don't know, you get all these like the people, and like people like me who grew up with these prequels. Like, I get it. They were in a sense my Star Wars movies, but I don't think they're masterpieces, you know. I think nostalgia is a crazy, crazy thing. And I think it applies to the original trilogy too. I think that I think people look back on those original movies like they're just perfect, kind of infallible, you know, films, and they're kind of not, you know. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. I've certainly enjoyed it, and we'll dig them out again for the 50th anniversary. Wow, I was gonna do a thumbs up there, but it just looks weird doing it from a top-down view. You can't see it like that. There, it just looks like I don't know what, but a thumbs up in spirit. Like, yes, okay. Yeah, all right, Attack of the Clones. Leave your thoughts down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.